Hello, I'm Cadwyn Morris, and this is my review of Doctor Who Series 8, Episode 11, Dark Water. In this episode, Danny Pink is dead, Clara strong-arms the Doctor, the Cybermen return, and we find out the true identity of Missy. Let's review Doctor Who. So yes, Series 8, Episode 11, Dark Water. It's the first part of the finale. The tease opens. Yes, it's on Earth. It's on Earth. It's on bloody Earth! This show used to be about space. It used to be about time. It used to be about showing you new and unusual things, and now it's about bloody relationships. I'm sorry. We've already established that this TARDIS that can go anywhere can't go anywhere. So the tease starts up and it's on Earth, and Danny's talking to Clara on the phone, and she tells him that she loves him, and he says it back, and all that lovey-dovey nonsense, back and forth, and luckily enough he gets hit by a car, and our displeasure ends, so to speak. Clara's obviously dumbstruck by what's happened. She runs to him, and in the what appears to be the days that follow, it could even be the same afternoon, I don't know, but it appears to be a day or so that follows. She devises a plan to get the Doctor to help get Danny back. Now, had she just gone forward and just asked the Doctor, he would have probably said no, actually. Because even under duress he was kind of saying no. But she devises a plan anyway, and the plan was to steal all the keys of the TARDIS to make sure that he can never go back into the TARDIS. I don't know what to think about that. What I would say is that the scene around the volcano, when you're still trying to work out what's going on, the scene between Clara and the Doctor it's pretty intense stuff. I mean, there's pretty intense stuff going on back and forth between the two. You know, he's unwilling to bend, she's unwilling to bend. They reach an impasse, and she throws the keys into the volcano. Good scene. I mean, really, a good scene. And even after the reveal of her actually just being inside the TARDIS and hallucinating, it doesn't let up. The scene there that follows, it's a damn good scene between the two of them. I mean, when they stop farting about with the Doctor and trying to make him this moronic character, you know, this guy's been around humans longer than humans have been around humans, and he still doesn't understand humans. That just makes him sound stupid. That just makes the character moronic. And I don't like my Doctor being a stupid idiot and only genius when he needs to be. I prefer him to be the genius. You know, that's what he is. He can be grumpy, he can be, you know, a little bit sort of mischievous, but don't make him silly, don't make him stupid. And this scene shows why you shouldn't do that. I'm not saying don't have fun with the character, but really this scene parades Peter Capaldi's talent versus another good actor in Jenna Coleman. It really does showcase how good these two really are together. The scene inside the TARDIS then is the Doctor really upset at what Clara was going to do. If she had got away, she would have actually got rid of the keys to the TARDIS. I'm not sure if it would have made a difference though, because, you know, as I understand, he can still open the TARDIS with a click of his fingers. Maybe it's got to be locked, I don't know. But yeah, she tells the Doctor that that's what she was intending to do, and the doctor says, you know, you disappoint me, you know, you betrayed me. Now, okay, it's fair to say that Clara would have, given the opportunity, done exactly what we thought she was doing. But let's not forget the doctor did drug his best friend to get some answers, rather than just say, look, you know, what are you doing? What's the problem? What's wrong? Talk to me. Because the result was the same thing, except, you know, he managed to steal some sort of higher ground, even though he had actually, you know, just sent Clara on an acid trip against her will. So, yeah, really good scene. To try to strong arm the doctor into bringing back Danny, that would bring down a paradox, thus negating her timeline. You can kind of understand why the doctor would have said no. So, but I do like that entire scene, and the scene whereby the doctor says to her, go to hell. And then she says, you know, fair enough, you know, absolutely fair enough. And she starts walking out of the TARDIS, and then he says, wait, what are you doing? Well, you know, but I've watched that scene a couple of times, and I think the way Peter Capaldi played it was absolutely right. I think he absolutely nailed it. The first time he says, go to hell, he's genuinely saying, get. You know, I'm done. You are done. Get out. That is what he's saying. And that's a sort of coming from an emotional response to what she just did, or what she was going to do, but all she did was stand inside the TARDIS throwing keys around the floor. But then his attitude seems to change. It's like, right, I've taken the emotional abuse, and now I'm changing it now into, let's think about this rationally. She's a friend, she's in trouble, she's in distress, she's missing somebody that she loves, they've just died, she's got to think about, I've got to think about this. And then he decides to put his own feelings aside and help Clara. So yeah, brilliant moment. And they set off then to find out where Danny's gone. Now, they arrive in the Netherworld, or the afterlife, or whatever it is that you want to call it. We'll get around to that later. I like the character of Seb. I do like the character of Seb, and I continually forget the guy's name who plays him. I've seen him on loads of different things, and I always forget his name. It just won't stick in my head. I wish I had written it down, but I had totally forgotten him to do it. But yeah, the character of Seb, totally like him. Then you get introduced to sort of Missy, Dr. Chang, and Darkwater. Now, we see all the tanks, and all the tanks are filled with Skeletons, or so we're led to believe so far. And we're then introduced to this tank of Darkwater, which makes matter disappear. No, it doesn't. No. No, it doesn't. Doesn't make non-biological matter disappear at all. Because if that was true, I would not be able to see the container within which the water was placed. And I can. This also raises a lot of all other different questions, such as, would the floor disappear if I spilled some on the floor? You know, if I drank some and then took a pee, would it make the toilet disappear? So there's a lot of varied, weird stuff going on just with this water. And it's kind of pointless, because really the fluid only exists. The fluid itself is actually just a very sci-fi way of saying curtain. Because that's all it is. It's a curtain. They just sort of going, shh, you can't see behind you. Shh. Later. You can't see what's behind you now. No. And that's all it does. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve any purpose in the story other than mask what's already there. So, you know, it's sci-fi! Yeah. We get some nice flashbacks to what actually went on with Danny during his time serving as a soldier. We know that he made some mistakes, and we know that he was sort of paying for it emotionally. good little scene, good little, run around, very well executed. Very sort of, I'm guessing they watched sort of a lot of Ross Kemp documentaries before making that scene. Yeah, we get sort of the Doctor. The final reveal is that all the tanks drain, and the inorganic matter becomes visible, and they're all Cybermen. And the Doctor's surprised. Everybody else is surprised. The audience isn't surprised. And then we get this scene between the Doctor and Missy, and it turns out that Missy is really the Master. Now, perhaps when I was watching this episode, perhaps they thought my reaction was going to be like this. Yes! Go on, son! Yes! But in actuality, my reaction was a lot more like this. Oh. It did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. To bring back the character of the Master again, only this time make it a woman. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the actress playing the Master. I'm not for gender swapping characters. For the sake of it. Okay, and here's the thing. I don't think you should gender swap characters. I don't have anything against a woman playing a man's part or a man playing a woman's part. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But what bothers me is the fact that when they do it as a gimmick and not... Here's a good example. When they cast Katie Sackhoff as Starbuck for the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, Katie Sackhoff auditioned for Starbuck not knowing Starbuck was supposed to be a man. Now what happened there was that they cast her because she went in, she nailed the audition, she nailed the part, she got the character, she understood the character, she played the character the way that it was laid out. The gambler, the smoker, the one who likes to fight. She didn't twig on that it was supposed to be a guy, and she nailed the audition, and they looked at all the other people who had auditioned for Starbuck, and she was the one who stood up by a mile. So she got the part. And that's the only time I would really use gender swap for a character, is when you've got who is that good an actor that they absolutely nail it. To do it for story purpose, it really doesn't bother me. It really, I can give or take. It's not going to make me go into shock and awe and how brilliant is this that a woman is now playing the Master. I don't want a woman to play the Master. I don't want a woman to play the Doctor. I don't want the Doctor to ever regenerate into a woman at any point. And some people might say, you can't say that. Yeah, I can. I just did. Because unless it's based on the decision that the best person for this part is a woman, and that... here's my argument, okay? In a couple of years' time, you can't imagine a bloke ever playing Wonder Woman. I think that's a fair argument. So, yeah. And the other thing is that, given that it was the Master, there are so many strong female villains out there, it didn't have to be the Master, okay? Had it been the Rani, I would have been much more overwhelmed, and I would have been much happier with the solution. I would have loved it to have been the Rani, just because it would have been something that wasn't overused. We're not continually getting punched down by the same villains popping up over and over. In this Series 8 we've had the Daleks, we've now got the Cybermen, and now the Master. There's 3 top Doctor Who villains in one series. It would have been nice if it had been a new villain as well. Because the one thing that I don't understand about this Master, and maybe they'll explain it in the finale, I don't know, but how is the Master pulling these people from time? How is the Master viewing people when they are 100 odd years in the past? You know, how are they getting them, how are they observing them on an iPad? I don't know. So, there are things here that's going to be unresolved, and I've got a feeling they're going to stay unresolved. There was a line as well that confused me with the Master, which was, the one you abandoned and left for dead. I don't recall it being that way, and I don't think the Master really recalls it being that way, and I certainly don't think the Doctor recalls it being that way. I recall the Master strongly, very strongly, fighting Rassilon into a void. Wasn't abandoned. Went willingly. Wasn't left for dead. Gone on the other side of the breach. So there's misplaced logic there. Again, maybe it'll be explained in the finale. Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll explain how dark water is only works when you put it in a glass container. I don't know. There was some good moments in this episode. There were some really good moments in this episode. The reveal of the Cybermen, even though I knew it was the Cybermen, it was still a good reveal. The reveal of the Master, again, it did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. So that was a bad moment. The opening scene, again, the opening is stronger than the finish. The finish to this episode, Cybermen marching through the streets of London and all over the world. It kind of feels like the Master Plan with the Togolophy. Similar thing, just different creature. So I don't know how I feel about this episode. I enjoyed the pace of the episode. I enjoyed some of the dynamic. I even liked the idea of the Nether Sphere and the fact that it was a matrix data slice. I liked that because it seemed to make sense. It seemed to make sense that Time Lord Science was downloading consciousness, and then that consciousness was then being uploaded into Cybermen. So, and it was Time Lord technology. Liked all that. I liked the look of it. I'm not so sure I liked the inside of it because it was the matrix data slice and they kind of went a bit Inception with it. But overall, the design and the idea of it and the way it works was pretty decent. The whole "don't cremate me" line, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It does very little for me in terms of what are you supposed to be relating it to. I mean, I get that they just want the bodies, or that they're trying to make some sort of link between the Nether Sphere and the body that's still alive, still around, still alive. And the character of Danny. What do I think about that? I still don't care. Danny's dead, and I don't care. I genuinely, I don't know whether or not it's because this relationship feels like it's been forced on us. Maybe it's because they've been brought together off screen, and most of the time that they've been together has been off screen. It doesn't feel like a natural relationship to me. It just doesn't seem like, it's not Amy and Rory, you know. Because when Amy and Rory finally sort of meshed, it worked, and it worked on screen, and it worked for all the right reasons. Yeah, look, we're going into the finale. Well, as I stand, we're going to the finale tomorrow night, and I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I will watch it, probably a couple of times, just so I can get things down. Am I excited about it? I mean, there's nothing else on, I suppose. But given the rest of the writing for the series, I'm hoping that the resolve to this story actually tackles a lot more than just this story, because we still have untied issues since episode 1 of this series. We still have stuff that hasn't been resolved yet, and they've dragged it out far too long already. They have to tie these things up. They can't leave it run over to the next series. If they do let it run over to the next series, people are going to forget about it and it'll never be resolved. So I'm hoping that it will be done in the finale. Also, we've got a little Doctor Who extra the Friday after, on Children in Need night, and then it'll be, I think, onto the Christmas episode. So that's what's happening right now. And that's my review of Doctor Who.